For all these reasons, the court grants plaintiffs' motions for a new trial.
Congratulations, Stuart. What is your initial reaction to this news?
You know, when I read this, I was thrilled. I'm thrilled that there's justice for my clients because we know, and the judge has affirmed, that the Greyhound bus driver was negligent, and that's what the judge has now ruled.
Yeah, now going into this, what did you think was going to be like the hardest part of this argument?
You know, it's difficult, I think, to ask a judge to overturn what a jury has ruled on, and we recognize that that would be a challenge. But I also knew that the overwhelming evidence was that the Greyhound bus driver was negligent. He was doing all the wrong things. Mm-hmm. I knew it, I think Greyhound knew it, and obviously the judge knew it.
Okay, now I'm curious, how is it that a judge can overrule a jury on a verdict?
Sure. There's a law that's established that says that if the judge who's listened to all the evidence is convinced that the weight of the evidence clearly establishes that the jury made a mistake, the judge actually has a responsibility and a duty to order a new trial. It's not something that he just personally thinks it should have been different. He has a job to weigh the evidence. And that's exactly what he did when he made this ruling.
Right. And now that this motion has been granted, what is the next step in this process?
Well, if Greyhound recognizes the fact that the judge got it right, what will happen is we'll have a hearing before the judge to set the new trial date, which could be 6, 8, 9 months down the line. I haven't talked to Greyhound. I'm concerned that they might disagree with this and ask to have an appeal. If that happens, we'll be stuck in the appellate court for 2 or 3 years. But I'm optimistic that we'll still prevail on the appeal because at the level of the Court of Appeal, they have to prove that the judge abused his discretion, not just that the appellate court thinks differently, but that the judge clearly made a mistake. That didn't happen. Judge Black got it right. The jury got it wrong.
Now, with all of this happening, are you ready to start back up at square one?
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it. We feel that we didn't get justice the first time around from the jury verdict, and we're optimistic that when we present this before a jury that can take time to really go through everything, they'll recognize that Greyhound was negligent, they're responsible for the deaths of these nice young ladies, and ultimately, at the end of the day, they're going to be responsible for that. That's what we're looking forward to.
Now, is there anything you'd like to say in closing?
Sure. The only other thing that comes to mind is the fact that this was a jury trial. And ladies and gentlemen from the community gave up weeks out of their personal lives to serve on this jury. And I'm sure it's got to be very disappointing for them and probably others thinking about the jury process that you can have a verdict and yet a judge overturns it. And I don't want to disrespect the work that the jury did in any way. But the reality is that when you look at all the evidence, the decision the jury made of finding the driver did nothing wrong was an error. And my job in representing my clients is to point that out to the judge and ask that justice be done in the form of granting a new verdict. So while we respect the time and the effort that this jury put in, sadly, the result was wrong. The judge recognized it, and so we'll move on and have another jury have the opportunity to take a look at this. And we're confident that at the end of the day, Greyhound will be held accountable.
Awesome.
Thank
you, and congratulations again, Stuart.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.